Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Ask an Action Coach. I am Joseph Muenich from ActionCOACH of Wisconsin. And as always, I am here with Coach Jackie Zach. Jackie is a certified business and executive coach with ActionCOACH of Wisconsin. And today we want to talk about something that a lot of people might be feeling right now, and that is a sense of fear and how to go from fear to focus. And so, Jackie, can you talk to us about that today?
I can, absolutely. So I know lots of things have been happening in the world with the pandemic and now with the things that are happening in cities all across the country. And it may be because these are some big things that are happening, and it may give us some anxiety, give us some fear, because it's uncertain, because of all the negativity that's happening. We may just not be in the right place mentally. So the first thing that we want to do is just think about what our identity is. Because right now, our identity might be, I'm afraid. I'm not going to get through this. Those things. So our identity is the things that we say to ourselves when we talk to ourselves about ourselves. So if we're saying some of those things in our head, that's our identity. And so, if you're finding that your identity is becoming this, is being added to the anxiety that you may or may not be feeling, or the fear that you may or may not be feeling, the real question is, what do we do about it, right? Because all we have real control over is how we think, how we act, and how we react. And if you want to learn more about that, check out episode 1 of Ask an Action Coach, where we really address that whole idea. So the first thing that I think that we need to do is just address our own fears and own whatever our mindset is. In this case, and in every case, emotions, we shouldn't say things like shouldn't, right? I shouldn't feel this way. Or I won't, or I can't, or any of those kinds of things. Because really, emotions are not good or bad, they just are. And so the very first thing I would say is just give yourself permission to feel your feels, whatever those are. Give yourself permission to feel them. Secondly, put a time limit on it. I'm going to feel what I feel for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, for an hour, whatever that might be for you, and then I'm going to move on. Because we have to move on. Once we feel those feels, we've got to move on. And we want to make sure that we feel them, but that they don't overtake us and get into every aspect of our lives. So feel what you feel, give yourself time limit to feel it, and then decide that you're going to move on, because really it's all about having a choice. So one of the things you want to do is also to change that is recognize, how do you have to feel? I shouldn't even say it like that. How do you need to feel or want to feel in order to get the results that you're looking for? So if you're scared, that is not going to get you to results. If you feel empowered, then you're going to get to the results. So what are the things you need to feel in order to get the results that you're looking for? And remember, you have the power to change them. Nobody else has the power to change the way you feel or the thoughts that you think, but you. You have all that control and all that power. So people often ask, okay, so what's the first step I can take to change how I'm feeling? Well, the very first step that you can take is change your physicality, or change how you are physically. So let's do this exercise together. The first step is I'm sitting here with my arms on my desk, kind of hunched over a little bit. So the very first thing we want to do is just sit back, shoulders back, and down, head up, nice and tall. So Joseph's doing that with me. So Joseph, when you do that exercise, how are you feeling? How has that changed the way you're feeling?
I feel taller, I feel in control, and I feel kind of powerful when I sit up straight like that.
Absolutely. And I feel the same way. I feel very powerful. I feel like if anybody is old enough, they remember I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar. That's kind of how I feel when I stand back and I with my head up, and I feel like I can take on the day. So the very first thing you can do is change your physicality. And the way to do that is just stand up straight like your mom taught you, right? Number 2, turn off the TV and turn off media. I found myself obsessing a little bit yesterday on all of the things that were happening in the major cities around the world, around the country, I should say. And I realized that is not doing me any good. So I want to be informed. I want to know these things are happening. I want to know the weather, for example. So I have given myself permission to watch like a half hour of it or a few minutes of it, so I know what's happening and I can be informed about what's happening in the world. And then I know whether or not I can be out in the sun or it's going to be raining or things like that. But other than that, I have decided that I'm going to ignore all of the other things that are happening media-wise. Another thing you can do is go out and enjoy nature. And this was a great suggestion from you, Joseph. I was sitting outside in my backyard, and I have a small backyard, but it is beautiful back there. And I didn't have any music on. I had nothing on. I just sat on the swing and I just listened and I watched. And what I heard a lot of birds. It felt like a bird convention, actually, but the birds were talking to each other. I saw a bunny who was about 3 inches long run around. I saw a big mama bird who looked like she was going to lay her eggs any moment in time. I heard the chirp. It was just a beautiful sound, and it was so peaceful. Another thing you can do is to meditate. And what I just described was a form of meditation, even though I had my eyes open and I was observing, but I was present with what was happening. And I was shocked at how that changed my thoughts and how that changed my emotions, because it was really getting back to nature. And the next thing, and the very last thing is really, what do you need to focus on and spend your time thinking about that will help your team, your business, and your community move forward? So we are going to address that with some ideas the next time on the next episode of Ask an Action Coach. But for right now, recognize your emotions, own them, feel them, and then set about changing them. And don't forget, sit up straight.
That's great. Thank you so much, Jackie. I feel better just talking about emotions. You helped me get into a better mind space just talking about mindset. So thank you so much for that this week. And as always, if you have a question you'd like to ask an action coach, you can do so in the comments section below. Or if you'd like to have a longer conversation, let us know that too. We'd be happy to set up a 20-minute call, complimentary, business diagnostic, whatever it is you might need right now. So thank you so much, Jackie. Have a wonderful week.
See y'all later.